Okay, so why would you want to play EverQuest Project 1999 these days? That's the question we're going to be talking about today, along with a little install guide. And we're going to go over that real quick first. So we'll start with a setup guide, project1999.com. You want to make accounts like I have right here. Those are two accounts that can be used to log into the EQemu server. That allows you access to the Project 1999 servers, which are green, blue, and red. And the green server it started out in 2020 as a fresh, like basic EverQuest without the two additional expansions, and that allowed you to play EverQuest like as it was in 1999 without any expansions. But currently, it is at the third expansion, which is Scars of Velius. That's as far as they go on 1999, because I believe that came out in like late 1999, early 2000. So that's as far as they go. The blue server is also Scars of Velius, but that came out a long time ago, maybe in like 2014. So most people play on the green server if they're playing Project 1999. That's where I play at. I have a bunch of characters there on two accounts. But if you want to get started playing, you're going to want to download EverQuest Titanium version. You have to find that out on the internet. I'm not going to tell you where to go. But what you want for 1999 version is the Project 1999 patch files. You want to download those, and I'm downloading them now. You go ahead and open the zip file. And as you're opening the zip file, this is after you've installed EverQuest Titanium version. You're going to copy your files. I use Control C to copy. And you're going to go to the location where you installed Project 1999. And you're going to just paste right there. And you're going to overwrite a bunch of files. And the one that we were missing, I believe, was the spell US texture.txt, which is the spells. I guess they updated some stuff. That Project 1999 will update from time to time. As you can see there, I just replaced all the files. As I going along, it's going to replace a whole bunch of files that will make the Titanium version compatible to Project 1999. So you got to make sure you have those installed. You don't need an account to download those files, but you do need an account to play. So you can see that copy in there. And there you go. There's the files copied over. And one thing that you need to do is you need to run this thing. You need to launch titanium.bat is what you use to run it. Don't use the executable files like everquest.exe. Don't use that. Use launch titanium.bat. And that'll allow you to run it and log into the Project 1999 or log into EQemu, which is the main emulation server, and then log into the Project 1999 servers. So that's what you're going to want to do. And you can also use WinEQ2, which is a program that'll stop crashes. But for this playthrough, we're just going to use the Launch Titanium, which is out of the box. And I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now we're back in Launch Titanium.bat. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And the green server is here. There's a server called Project Lazarus that has a lot of players. I'm not sure what's going on there. I may check that out later. But let's say you want to play, you've never played before, and you want to play Project 1999 EverQuest. It's not very friendly to get into. There is a wiki, the Project 1999 wiki, which has everything you need to get started. But best starting classes, in my opinion, are the mage classes. You could try a monk, but usually warrior and priest classes are the hardest to get started with because they're not very solo friendly. And one thing you'll know about the original EverQuest is that it is not solo friendly at all, and that's on purpose because it's designed for grouping. Everything needs grouping. Once you get past level 14, you'll be wanting to group. The more you group, the easier it is. So as you can see, I have a bunch of characters here. Bard's a character that a lot of people recommend, but it involves a lot of kiting, which is dragging mobs around the screen. And that involves a lot of strategies, so it's probably not a good one to start out with. You could try a druid. Those are usually pretty easy to start out with. In my opinion, the pet classes are the easiest to do. That includes the necromancer, which I have here, level 5. The magician, which I believe this is the highest level character I have, which uses magical pets. Very easy to get started with. Druid is another one that's pretty easy to get started with, and you make money off of porting, so you basically teleport people around the world. Great way to make money. And a monk. So we'll go with monk in this playthrough, so we don't have to get into spells and everything. And I'll discuss sort of what is really good about EverQuest compared to, let's say, World of Warcraft. Why would you play this over WoW Classic? You know, because this just looks janky. It's all blocky. Yeah, it's retro, but why would you play this over WoW Classic? For one, if you like a challenge. So in this game, there's no map. So if you try to bring up a map, it just won't work. Slash map doesn't work. So you don't have a map. You don't have a compass. You have this button called sense heading, which will get what direction you're facing. However, the thing with sense heading is that it is a skill. So if I bring up my character sheet and I bring up skills, you'll see here you have a bunch of different skills that you have to learn. And that's one cool thing about the Stamina Light, is that everything is skill based. So if we have sense heading here, it's awful. And as you level up, these types of skills will level up with you. So you can't max this out at a lower level. You have to level up, and then you can start leveling up this skill. So when I'm in the like level 5 to 15 range, I like to spam sense heading, but just, you know, mapping it to my quick bar. I got it mapped to 4 right now, so I just spam it every couple of seconds, and that way you can kind of skill it up, but it takes forever. Anyway, I'm starting out the game here. I'm level 4. If you start out, you're going to be at level 1, and all you do is, and like I said in my previous video, I'm doing Keynotes as a starter location, because that's the one I'm most familiar with turn-in quests for experience and things like that. So what I'm going to do is, or what you're going to have to do is basically kill everything in sight. And starting out, if your control scheme is default, you can use X to consider. Or I don't know if I mapped it to that or not, but you can click Alt and O to bring up the options menu, go into keys, and this will have different categories for your keys, and you can decide which one you want to use in order to map it to different actions. So for instance, let's see where it's at. Target, that's not it. Commands, auto attack, run walk, control R, inventory bags. I have these mapped to B and shift B, so when I press B it opens up all my bags, and when I press shift B it closes all my bags. That way it's easier than what it's, I forget what it's set to. I don't know if it's set to I or whatever, and I set my character sheet to C. Just makes more sense that way. Camera. Well, there's one here for consider. Commands, run walk, spell casting. Those are mapped to Alt 1 through Alt 9. Target. But whatever you currently have consider mapped to, I have it mapped to X. You use that on a mob, and it will tell you down here what the consider level is. So if it's blue, it's attackable and you'll most likely kill it. If it's white on the consider, that's your level, so it's going to be a challenge, especially at the higher levels. And if it's green, it is not a challenge and it will not offer XP. So anything blue and above will offer XP, and if it's yellow, it will probably kill you. This game doesn't play around when it comes to mobs. If they're higher level than you, they will kill you. Unless you have a pet class where you can use a pet in order to basically have double, you have basically 2 players playing, and the compensation for that is your pet does get XP. So it takes XP away from you. So the more you use your pets, the more XP will be given to the pet, not to you. So that's the kind of trade-off you make whenever you have a pet class. But anyway, I'll go to the skeletons. Those are easy to kill from level 1. Walk up to them. My melee attack is set to 1. Just start killing them. And 2 is kick, and you just do a quick kick. You'll notice in the combat classes in this game, it's not very involved. You just hit the button and watch it go. There's not much going on. So right click to loot, just like any other game. You can right click and pop them in your inventory. The one thing about Monk is the Monk class has a bonus if you are weightless. So if you basically take off all your clothes and you don't pick up any loot, you do get a bonus to hit or damage. But I don't think it's really worth it in the long run, at least in my experience. But this is basically how you're going to level up your character, and it's going to be very boring starting out. You're going to do this, and you're going to hit for every class from 1 to 4 is basically doing this. Going up to every mob, doing consider, making sure you can kill them, looting, and see there I got a rusty axe. So let's go ahead and run over to our vendor and sell it, and that's how you make money. And like in any other game, you sell loot. So we're going to run over to our vendor. Remember, there's no map. So if you want a map, you go to Project 1999 and you look up the city name or the location name. And if you do a /who here, down here at the bottom, you can see players on EverQuest, and it'll show you who's currently where you are in zone. And it'll show you where you are. So it says there are 3 players in North Kenos, so I know I'm in North Kenos now. So if I right click on this vendor, here's his stuff. I will highlight the thing I want to sell, which is this rusty axe, and then I will go down here and click sell. That'll sell it. And as you notice, I have down here gold, silver, copper, and platinum, and these are weighted. So your money is weighted in this game. You should have a weight allowance of 100, and everything you equip and everything in your inventory goes towards your weight. If you're overweight, you're going to become encumbered, and that sucks. So you basically want to go to the bank, and you can exchange all this copper. So 10 copper is 1 silver, 10 silver is 1 gold, 10 gold is 1 platinum. So you could basically store your money in the bank, because when you die in this game, you leave everything on your corpse, and you have to go back where you died and re-loot your corpse to get everything you need. So you definitely want to keep some money and items in the bank, so you, in case you end up in a situation where you can't get to your corpse, which will happen, and you need a thief or some other class that can drag your corpse to you. You may need to pay them money for that, or they may do it out of the goodness of their heart. And you can loot your corpse and get all your stuff back. And that's one of the great things about this game, is that it allows, like, you die in a, let's say you go to a dungeon, and remember, all the dungeons in EverQuest Classic are open. They're not instance, so everybody's in there at the same time. You go somewhere you're not supposed to go, and you get wiped. You just basically get murdered. You can't go back there, because if you go back there to loot your corpse, you're going to get murdered again. And every time you get killed after level 5, you lose 10% experience. So you can actually level down in this game if you keep dying. So what you're going to want to do is talk to people in the zone and say, hey, can someone help me get my corpse? And more than likely than not, at some point, somewhere, someone's going to be able to help you out, and they'll go grab your corpse and drag it to you. And you'll be able to, at the dungeon entrance, you'll be able to loot it and get your stuff. And that's one of the great things about this game, is the community. It's like nothing like any other game, even World of Warcraft Classic. There's basically just so many ways to do things with other players, and you have great times in the game. Like, you have very memorable experiences grinding. And this is just general casual play. I'm not talking about serious in-game play where people are raiding and, you know, worried about stats and gear and all this stuff. You know, gear is, starting out in this game, gear is nowhere near as important, and it's nowhere as vast as World of Warcraft, where you have so many green items that have the, you know, stat bonuses. In this game, stat bonuses are not as common, especially starting out. So I got here, just got two clubs for weapons, and I just got cloth armor. And do I even have a chest item? No, I don't. So not even a chest item. So I'm just equipped with basically the stuff that drops off these mobs here. you can play equipped with that without any issues. But once you get higher in level, and like I have 2 accounts, and basically what you can do, there's no mail in this game, so you can't send yourself items. But what you can do if you have 2 accounts is you can log in from one location and log in another location, because your IP address gets tracked. So because it's supposed to be a 1-box server, you're not supposed to be logging in with 2 different accounts. But if all I use it for is just to trade items between NPC, my characters, or trade money, and you can log in with one IP address, and you can run the program on another computer with another IP address, and that way you can trade items between characters. And that's all I use it for. I don't do power leveling, and I don't do any of that stuff. That's all bannable offenses if you try to get away with doing that type of stuff. They call that multi-boxing. It's highly discouraged because it basically ruins the spirit of EverQuest and grouping. If you're using a VPN to log into different IPs and you're basically playing by yourself with all these different, emulation boxes up and doing a whole group by yourself, it's not really worth it. It is to some people because they just want a power level, but not to me, at least. Anyway, I'll probably just grind this out until I get to level 5 or 6, and then I'll head into Kenos Hills in order to show you how to start the first quest, where you obtain an item from an NPC that you kill, and you turn that item into a quest giver inside of Kenos itself. And what that will do is give you XP on reward. So you keep handing in these items to the NPC in Kenos, and he'll give you XP as you do it, and that will level you much quicker than just killing mods. And there's multiple instances of where you can do that. So I will be back shortly, and we will go through that part of how to level up.